Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're well. Um, well, I hope you're well. um, so I've been watching some videos by or with or including Sophia VInogradov, and she was speaking about her research on there about brain training for people with schizophrenia. And I thought that was very interesting. She said that when people do certain training, such as becoming a London taxi driver, they they might actually have become taxi drivers. I'm not sure if it was simulated research or actual research, if that makes sense. So that certain parts of their brain that are involved in schizophrenia sort of strengthen, and then they have lessening of symptoms. So I think that's awesome. I do wonder if what level of difference it makes. How, like, I would like to see like a graph of, before, during, after the training, and sometime later, like many years later, and see what kind of impact that once-off training has had. And then I'm wondering about the ongoing training as well, if that's possible, because based on what she said, there's a lot of hope for people facing schizophrenia, and I already felt before I even come across this research that there was hope for us, and that was more within the spiritual side of things. But as much as both are valid, I think that if you can do something in a practical way that has tangible evidence of improvement, then why not? So, and like, I've had tangible evidence of various healings as well, medical evidence. So that's pretty cool. That's good too, for some things, but not for others so far. So I do obviously like continue to pray as long as it's not triggering for me, and meditate as long as it's not triggering for me, and I focus on anything positive that comes into my mind, and I make sure that I have an awareness of whether it's my healthy side of my mind or my not so well side of my mind. So I keep that kind of thing in check. And obviously, yes, like I said, I'll continue to do that. But I'd also love to do the training that she's mentioned. I don't particularly want to be a London taxi driver, but there's probably a lot of other types of training that are applicable, because that part of the brain, like usually different parts of the brain, from my understanding from reading The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Dewage, I think it was, my understanding is that some parts of the brain, for example, if you've got a part that's responsible for music, it's also responsible for mathematics, if that makes sense. Like that kind of processing happens in that part of the brain for those things. So if you develop a new musical ability, you'll strengthen your mathematical ability, or you develop your mathematical ability, it might strengthen your musical ability. So without having to work on both, if that makes sense, you just do one and not the other, and both, the ability to do both will strengthen. So my understanding is that there will be many different things that can be done that part of the brain is responsible for, or at least 2 or more things that part of the brain can do that can be strengthened, which can be strengthened through various training. And they've probably got a lot more research to do, and a lot more there's a lot more to learn. And I thought it was awesome how she talked about the value of people who have schizophrenia, because a lot of people write us off, and I think that's really sad and it's unfair, and I don't really know what to add to that, but it is very sad and it's very unfair, because a lot of us have a lot to contribute. And like I myself, like, you know, when I was younger I was quite artistic, and I had really great ability to draw visually, things that I could see, not things that were in my imagination so much. I wish I could draw what was in my imagination, because it's pretty amazing, but well, not always, but often it is. But yeah, someone rolled over my wrist at the skate park on their rollerblades. They did eventually apologise for that, but well, at least I think they did. Anyway, ever since then I wasn't able to draw, and then I learned about neuroplasticity and realised that there's hope for, you know, being able to draw again, and I've started drawing again recently. But it's been like 10 years and my drawing's nowhere near up to par or up to scratch or where it was at 10 years ago. But of course that lack of practice in that time would be contributing to the inability as much as the physical damage that was done to my wrist. Not that it looks fine, there's like, you can't see anything wrong with it, but I sensed that from what happened, my neurology was a little bit different after that. Like, the neurons might not have been as connected the way they were before, or I don't know, but for whatever reason that impacted on me. Might have even been psychological. It might not have even had a physical effect, but from not being able to draw at that time, I got it in my mind that I couldn't draw. And then I remember when I was going through really serious depression, I was reading things like my chemistry books, which I would normally have no problems understanding, and going, what is this? What am I reading? Because it was all jumbled up and words were floating around the page, and I'd never had that problem prior to being on the medication that I was on for that depression. So yeah, I guess what I'm pulling out of that is, I'm not sure where I was going with that. I think I had a point, but I don't really remember what it was. Oh, if it occurs to me during this chat, I'll bring it up again. So yeah, so that research is very hopeful. Everything about neuroplasticity is hopeful for the benefit of humanity and all beings really, but I think that we're the ones that could make the most use of it, I guess, with, you know, being that we're just starting to understand these things, and yeah, got opposable thumbs and all that jazz. So looking forward to seeing what new research comes out, and I'm interested to hear from you if you know of any research. Like, I heard of some CBT stuff that I want to look into, but I'm not a big fan of CBT because someone was using it on me years ago and I applied it to my life and it made things a lot worse. People really didn't understand what I was doing, and maybe I didn't understand what I was doing as well. I might have had a warped idea of what CBT is because of how unwell I was, but I can only do my best, and yeah, so I guess that's all I'd like to say for now. So have a great day, a good life, and God bless you.